And here we are. Hi, my name is Catherine, and you know what? It's time to begin Sherlock Holmes The Awakened, the newer version of the game which came out this spring 2023. And these are our health warnings. I will keep them here. I will not read all of these. We have content warning, which is amazing. I really appreciate that. And then they are also mentioning the war, obviously. Those of you who have watched my videos before, who are familiar with this channel, know that I played the older remastered version before this, and I'm also a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes and Elder Gods. I'm curious to find out what kind of changes they have made, what kind of game this is going to be. I've been looking forward to playing this, and I think it's gonna be an excellent fit for this autumn. It's gonna have some horror elements and dark, moody, stormy seas and narrow side alleys and weird character interactions, I'm sure. So thanks for joining me. Without further ado, let's go. New game. I played it just a tiny bit just to see that it works. So now we're actually getting into the story. Let's go. Chapter 1: The Shadow over London. Baker Street. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, it's raining clearly.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Use LS to move around and press A to interact with objects. Okay. Wow, our room is a mess, but first of all, let's take a look at our characters. I think this is the youngest Sherlock Holmes I've ever seen in these games that I've played so far in this channel. He looks like he's, I don't know, 20-something. Let's take a look at our Dr. Watson. He looks like he has a bit more paler complexion, and it looks like he has these dark circles around his eyes. I know I'm choosing a weird camera angle, but I'm just taking a look at these two because you can see the lines on our Watson's forehead, and you can see his pale complexion and the sunken eyes, and somehow this he has this kind of tired demeanor, and he was speaking about his past in war-torn Afghanistan. So what do we see here? We have the fireplace, and is that our family? Are those our parents? And are those us? Is that Mycroft and Sherlock? And if they are, which one are which? Is Sherlock the one next to his mother? I don't know. If you have any idea what that painting is all about, let me know in the comments. Oh, and look at this wall. Are those knives? Yeah, no, they were the surgical needles. For a moment, I was thinking that they looked like they were knives. But no. Okay. Clearly some theories in the walls. But I don't think I can interact with anything in here. And we can obviously watch the street and the stars if need be, and there's some carriages outside. Oh, I love this room, and I love this moody, foggy, rainy London we can see from our window. So let's take a look at our objective. Okay, so this is how we move, and let's see. London Advertiser, September 28th, 1882. Tensions between England and Sweden are running high after a series of unfortunate mishaps during a recent visit to London by Swedish Princess Ildur. Chief among the scandals was the embarrassment of the British diplomatic corps as a result of the unexplained disappearance of Princess Ildur's personal bodyguard. The longtime member of her inner circle took the opportunity to explore London while off duty and never returned from his late-night promenade. A spokesman for the police assures the Advertiser that they are confident the bodyguard will be located as he's a striking representative of the Scandinavian people. A man like that gets noticed, whether by his peers at the gentlemen's club or the fair nightingales who comfort them. So this is London Advertiser and not the Strand. I wonder...
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting.
I wonder what is the reason for that they are not able to use the Strand, or that they have changed the newspaper that he tends to read in the beginning. Let's take a look at this thing. What is it? And how do I circle it around? Come on, we get this. Okay. Visit Barnes Bookshop.
Your order from Barnes Bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
Okay, and an envelope. What does it say? Vogel. We know how to use controllers, yes.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming. I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
Okay, interesting. I am wondering though if we can take a look at... Okay, so this is our inventory or notebook. The Strand is missing. Watson brought in the morning's post, but the Strand is missing. He disposed of it before entering the building because the pages were soiled. There is still a chance it might be found in the dustbin. Okay. Book from Barnes. Among our morning deliveries is a book for Watson. It was from Mr. Barnes, the bookseller who prefers to do deliveries himself. Attached to the book is Barnes's business card, which includes the address of his store just around the corner. And this was what we read, so I'm not gonna be reading that again. I guess this is our map. It looks slightly different from the map we had before. At least I think so. It's gonna be interesting to see what the outside is gonna look like. And what are these? Oh, these are clothing options. Does it matter what kind of clothes we are wearing? I guess it actually might, because it's an important part of the books, at least. He changes his appearance and his clothes and everything. I do enjoy this. I think it looks great, but if we're gonna go out, we probably should have a jacket with us. Windcoat. A storm is coming. Well, it was raining outside, so let's choose the windcoat. Oh, okay, let's take one thing at a time. And we can choose our hat. It's gonna totally be the traditional one. Look at that. We have glasses. These look pretty cool, I gotta admit. Oh, I like this small detail that we can actually customize his appearance a bit. It's great. Oh, and this is Watson. Definitely with the bowler hat, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's choose this. It looks great. So then we have this, and I have no idea what this is all about. These look like some sort of nerve cells or something. Oh, I love all of this. Can you hear the sound of the rain? Oh, I'm so happy. Can we? No, we cannot enter.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
It's weird that Watson calls him Mr. Holmes. Unless it's meant to be a jab.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil. A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Okay.
Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here!
Oh, it sounds actually like a child. I'm so happy.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
What happened to my newspaper? What were today's headlines?
Any breaking news today?
The dock accident. It's the talk of the town.
Yes. Besides the tripe on the front page, anything about burglaries?
I'm not sure, sir.
What happened to my newspaper?
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson?
Cool, now I can take the day off.
What did he do?
Did you see what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Where was he headed? Tell me about the man at our doorstep. Let's start with this.
Can you describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises.
Could that have been Barnes? They said that he delivers books by hand by himself.
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
All right. You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears, if you have more shillings. Get the Strand! Get your copy of the Strand here!
Let's go a bit further away. You got a new question in your mind palace. Open the casebook with a button and then navigate to the mind palace inside. Select relevant pieces of evidence to deduce the answer. Okay. So let's see. This seems to be the mind palace, and the question is, who ruined the Strand? Book from Barnes, cactus spine potentially poisoned. I don't think book from Barnes ruined it. I think it was the cactus spine. I have no idea what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. Oh my goodness. Well, let's try this then. But you said book from Barnes, not Barnes himself, so that's why I didn't choose it, but okay. Mr. Barnes is involved in the scheme. The newsboy said the suspicious man was carrying a stack of books, and this morning Mr. Barnes, the local bookseller, delivered a novel for Dr. Watson. A cactus spine for assassination, a loud bang. A visit to Mr. Barnes is in order. Okay, I think that was all we are able to do. At least it's green now. This I didn't read yet. Newsboy's testimony. The young newspaper seller didn't see much. He noticed a suspicious man approaching the house and then heard a loud noise. He said that the man was kneeling at our doorstep afterwards, but the newsboy lost sight of him due to his customers. Apparently the man was carrying a stack of books. Okay. So now we have one place in our map. That's good. This is Baker Street, so Barnes' bookshop should be somewhere nearby.
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not every pawn knows it's part of a game.
Pin the evidence with a bookshop photo by pressing X. Mr. Barnes is involved in the scheme. Stenwick's manor. Oh my, they really made it to look like a huge place. That's amazing. So we were able to run like this, just trying to take everything in. Barnes' bookshop. No, that's a barber shop. Oh, over there, yes.
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona?
Who knows? I bet Sherlock might have made some enemies along the way. Occasionally it's really hard to move the cursor. For some reason. So we found 2 pieces of evidence. What is he reading? This is not it. Imagine Sherlock just looking at you very intensely, trying to find all the clues. Leans heavily on his right leg. So left leg, accept. How about shoes? High heels, wants to look taller. Mr. Barnes has developed a limp and has large bags under his eyes, the result of long hours of intense work. He's not very confident and tries to appear taller by wearing high heels. It seems unlikely that such a person would be involved in a murder plot, even if the ink on his hands suggests he is the one who sold the newspaper. Nevertheless, Mr. Barnes could still be a pawn in a bigger plan without his knowledge. So ink, newspaper ink, high heels, wants to look taller, leans heavily on his right leg and saw left leg. Bags under eyes, the effects of overwork. Oh, so these change depending on which option I choose. Interesting. So I need to choose workaholic or blackmail victim. Mr. Barnes has large bags under his eyes, the result of poor sleep and stress. He has developed a limp, likely the result of an attack. He wears high heels to look taller or stronger, presumably to deter future violence. Mr. Barnes is being threatened by someone and might be involved in a plot against me. We have known Barnes for quite some time now, so I would dare to say it's gonna be blackmail victim. I'm gonna accept that.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
What?
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
Really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
What is that sound? It sounds like a dog is panting. Is there a dog? There is a dog! Hello!
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
You are! Yes, you are! Press LB to highlight interactive areas in the environment around you. Oh, that's useful! That's right, B. I pressed the wrong button.
The ladder is broken, recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Interesting. So we need to collect some evidence. Let's see. This painting...
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
It does look weird, yeah. The Jungle Book. That's a weird symbol.
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
Okay. How about this? Exotic Plants Catalogue. A catalogue of exotic plants on Barnes's counter. The name of the catalogue reads Everlasting Plants for an Everlasting Love. Okay. So did we find everything? Is there something else? Yes, something here. Not dead flower. Oh, yes, there is a dead flower this time. Oh, I'm so happy.
In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
Oh, and it has a meaning. I'm so happy. Great. So, for those of you who don't know anything about the previous game, there were dead flowers in the windowsill there as well.
The finest view London has to offer.
I'm sure the third thing is one of these books, but I guess it isn't.
An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible.
So someone really wants to show those flowers to someone else. I wonder why. He mentioned that they were shown when the job was done, and here we see the Tree of Life again. This was something we kind of saw in the previous game as well. I bet this is partly foreshadowing of what we are about to encounter in this game later.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Hello there. What's your name?
Cutie
Lily.
pie.
I know, not very original.
So the reason why I'm outside at the moment is that I'm trying to find clues. Because I tried to use our mind balance when we were inside and I wasn't able to find any clues.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
So the spike was taken from here. I think that's it. Something else in here?
A familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
Hmm. What else?
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Okay, so do we...
Anything tickle your fancy, Mr. Holmes?
Let's observe. Wearing makeup for beauty or concealment. Mourning brooch, honoring deceased husband. How about shoes? Clean boots. Changed shoes upon arrival. What am I missing? Supposed to be observing her. Is that a stain? No. Luxury fabric. Unusual for work attire. Something still in here. Distant look. Avoids eye contact or distracted. In the left we can see what we found, and in the right we need to make assumptions based on what we found. Put our clues together, so let's read it. Mrs. Flemming uses makeup to hide her tear-stained cheeks. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for outside work. Her shoes show no traces of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. While she tries to bury her grief by dressing extravagantly, she still wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her gaze, always staring off into the distance, reveals her emotional detachment. Taken as a whole, one must conclude that Mrs. Flemming is still reeling from her tragic loss. So this is the still grieving option. This is ready to move on. Mrs. Flemming wears a mourning brooch in memory of her late husband. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for work. Her shoes show no traces of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. Her eyes constantly dart around the street, seemingly in search for something. Perhaps she's waiting for someone? While Mrs. Flemming cherishes the memory of her departed husband, she is trying to move on as suggested by her makeup and nice outfit. Perhaps she is dressing to attract someone's attention or simply because she has learned to love herself again. Well, we saw that Mr. Barnes is reading about, what was it? Plants that are somehow related to love? And she is a plant seller. And she is right outside his window, right next to him every day. So could there be something going on between these two? I don't know. I'm gonna say ready to move on. Confirm portrait. Yeah, let's accept this.
Mrs. Flemming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No,
True.
but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
Provide evidence or leave. Let's provide evidence. I don't know what kind. What should I do? Can we...
I don't know anything about this, sorry.
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
I knew it.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller. I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes.
Is there a limited number of questions I can ask of her, or should we ask about everything?
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
Interesting if that is the truth.
I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Damn.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes, no, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course, but we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog, and most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy, so we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached, but since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Oh, okay, so we found new evidence. Should we go to our mind palace and try to figure this out. Maybe now we have enough information. Yes! We did it! Mr. Barnes is in love with Mrs. Flemming. Barnes displays a bouquet of dead flowers to attract the attention of Mrs. Flemming. That is so goofy, but at the same time kind of sweet, I guess. A florist. He may hope she will come into his shop and give him watering advice, or it could simply be a symbol of his desperation. Barnes anonymously gifted her a cactus which he ordered from the catalogue on his counter. A questionable choice, but for Barnes, a symbol of his eternal love, since the catalogue presents these cacti as immortal. Oh, immortal love. Oh, he's trying to be very romantic. How about just going and talking with her? Plainly, this is the same cactus he dropped on the Strand outside 221 Baker Street. Now to hear the full story. Yeah. So this was the new information we just gathered. Just quickly checking out if there's something I'm missing. I think we're all good here.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
No.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Flemming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer. I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Flemming. Please come out.
All right, then.
Oh.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus in your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Flemming noticed.
Yeah, she did. It isn't really Sherlock's area of expertise, that much is true. I mean, at least in the books. At least in the books, he is really not the romantic type. But let's try to help Barnes. Let's try to help him a bit.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So, at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of The Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Okay, The Strand, September 28th, 1882. Saltpeter explosion rocks docks. Locals at the Port of London had a rude awakening last night, with loud bangs and thick red smoke disturbing the peace. Merchant ship Moskva had docked at Pier number 3 in the early evening, en route to Europe when it was rocked by several concussive explosions. The Port Authority is yet to comment on the incident, and it is unknown if any crew members were on board at the time. Eyewitnesses report seeing saltpeter leaking into the river, but with the area still off limits to workers and the public, it may be some time before we have a full account of what transpired.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Flemming.
Can I just say that Watson's voice is juicy?
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition, and that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
It seems that this version of Sherlock, at least in the beginning of this story, is softer than how he's usually portrayed in many other stories, and I kind of enjoy that take on this character. This is where we are gonna end this episode. More of Sherlock Holmes The Awakened coming up very soon. So far I love everything about this game. Can't wait to find out what happens next, and I wholeheartedly hope you will be joining me while we explore this fantastic story forward. Take care, and hopefully I'll meet you via another video in the future.